though it's Washington time. Gonna get that HAV. Insane game. What is it? It's Soaping Park.
Today in the Daily Dose, the week of me.
Your sleepy toilet is nostalgia.
The Paris Peace Conference marked a new beginning. The League of Nations was to provide the framework for the new world order. For the first time in history of the nation, the world would unite.
Okay, so good morning again. How was your vacation? Yesterday vacation. Just one day vacation yesterday. How was it?
Good.
It was boring.
I slept the whole day. It was highly.
Okay, so you have to motivate yourself because just a couple of weeks or just 1 week? Your vacation, Christmas vacation.
This week and next week.
Oh, okay. So we still have 1 more week or 2 more weeks. 1 more week. Oh, that's so fast. Isn't it? Okay, so before I start my lesson today, I'm just going to ask some question about last time. About what? What is the impact of World War I to China? Okay, can you tell me again, who was the Emperor of Japan? Hirohito. But who was the one or the Prime Minister that wanted to expand their territory? Huh? Okay, so that is the Prime Minister Tanaka. Okay, so what are the towns or cities in China that the Japanese colonized? Raise your hand if you know the answer. Mario? Manchuria. What else? Mongolia. And what else? There is another place in China. Tete? Nanking. Okay, and who were the 2 leaders during that time in China? Okay, Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong. Okay, and then after all of this thing that happened, what happened to China and Japan?
They fight.
Well, yes, they do that. They did that. But after all those things that happened, they agreed, and Japan somehow helped China to what?
Germany.
Okay, Russia. Okay? Why did they don't like Russia?
Because they're communists.
Because they are communists. Okay? Why do Chinese or China did not like communists or communism?
Because they were anti-communist.
Because they are anti-communism. Because what is the belief of Chinese people during that time?
Nationalism.
Nationalism. Led by who? Chiang Kai-shek. Oh my God, you remember. Okay, so now today we are going to talk about how did the world try to prevent war. Okay, if you are the leader, how are you going to prevent war?
Negotiate.
Huh?
Negotiate.
Negotiate with who? The other country. Okay, and what else? Have good relationship with another country, of course. Okay, so now, after World War I, the world was devastated. And of course, they needed something to regain its, its wealth and the well-being of every people. Now, those countries who won World War I, they started to think, what should we do so that this thing, World War I, is not going to happen again? And the time to prevent the war, they started to create the thing called the League of Nations. Okay, it's not United Nations, the League of Nations. Okay? So before I start my lesson today, I want you to watch some video clips to understand what is the League of Nations. Be quiet, listen, because I'm going to ask question again. Meter.
The Paris Peace Conference marked a new beginning. The League of Nations was to provide the framework for the new world order. For the first time in history, the nations of the world would unite in a world organization. At the time, not everybody was enthusiastic. Now this is one of the iconic photos of the Paris Peace Conference. It shows the four political leaders that determined the fate of the conference in many respects. Clemenceau from France, Wilson from the United States, Lloyd George from Britain, and the Italian Prime Minister Hollande. Now these four, Wilson was the main supporter of the League idea. Wilson was adamant that there must be a league, and that this league would be the centerpiece of the Paris peace settlement. The British government went along, but Lloyd George was more ambivalent. And Clemenceau famously said that he liked the league, but he did not believe in it. But the momentum for setting up a world organization was enormous. League of Nations associations had formed in many countries, and they were preparing draft proposals. The great caravan of humanity is once more on the march, wrote the South African General Smuts in his practical proposal, a pamphlet that became the blueprint for the League. And it's here, in the centre of Paris, where it all happened. Most of the discussions that led to the adoption of the continent took place over there, just 10 minutes at Place de la Concorde, at the Hotel Crillon. And the first meeting of the Council of the League of Nations took place just over there, in the building with the two flags, which houses the foreign office of the French government. Setting up the League was the first and primary task of the Peace Conference. Before beginning to discuss the terms of the peace, the League Commission, chaired by Wilson himself, discussed the terms of the future world order. And while the conference would wrangle for months over details of the peace settlement, agreement on the League of Nations was reached within weeks. So already in mid-February 1919, the League Commission presented a covenant of the League of Nations, the founding treaty of the First World Organization. This is a copy of the covenant, printed in 1919. The covenant outlined the shape of the new organization and defined its powers. It made clear that the League would not be a superstate, but an association of independent members. But still, it was something very new in international relations. There had been international organizations and arrangements before, but now, for the first time, the states of the world created a permanent organization with a broad mandate. promote international cooperation and to achieve international peace and security, as the Covenant formulated it. This permanent organization had permanent organs, an assembly, a council, and a secretariat, and these would give it a measure of autonomy from national governments. The League did not have, as will soon become clear, sufficient clout to achieve international peace and security, but it propelled international cooperation into a new era. Within the framework of the League, committees and commissions would be set up to address social and humanitarian concerns, to codify international law, and to facilitate cooperation in scientific and economic methods. In some of this, the League built on earlier attempts at international collaboration. But for the first time, there was now a hub for international cooperation, a center for harmonizing the actions of nations, as the United Nations Charter would later call it. It was clear that something very new in international politics was beginning. Lord Robert Cecil, its most ardent supporter of Britain, called the League a great experiment. In many respects, that experiment did not succeed, but it had to be tried, if only so that the founders of the United Nations, the next world organization, could learn from it. The League is widely seen as a failure today. It did not stop Hitler, and perhaps Clemenceau was right not to believe in it. But it was an exciting experiment, and it is one worth rediscovering, as we shall see.
Okay, so another one. Okay, just a very short one. Okay, so before we continue with another one. Alright, so now, the League of Nations was formed because of what? Because of the war. To prevent the war. Okay, so now there are 4 nations who started this idea that we must have some organization that will prevent the world to become disastrous again. Okay? So now, what are those 4 countries? Okay? What are those 4 countries? We have 1, Britain. What else? USA, are you sure with the USA? Okay, we have France.
Italy.
Russia, not really.
Italy.
Italy. What else? Austria, are you sure? What else? Germany? You'll figure it out later. Japan. Japan was a member actually. Japan was a member. Okay. If you listen to this one, okay, where is that? This is what we have, right? Okay. Listen to this one.
For the first time Now this is one of the iconic photos of the Paris Peace Conference.
Okay, look at the
It shows
picture. So we have 4 people there. They are the leaders of different countries. Okay? Now we have
political leaders
Listen.
that determine the fate of the conference in many respects. Clemenceau from France, Wilson from the
okay, so what is the missing country? We already have. So first one, Clemenceau. Okay. Next one, listen.
States, Lord George from Britain,
Lloyd George. Okay, we already have. Okay. Oh, sorry. This is not Britain. This is USA. So what is the missing country? USA. Now listen, who was the leader to the
Prime Minister Hollande. Now these 4,
Okay, so we're going to figure it out who are this one. For Italy. For USA, we have Woodrow Wilson. Yeah. I forgot, sorry. Okay, because I thought Woodrow Wilson is British, but no. I remember the 14 points of Woodrow Wilson. Okay, now, so So we have Britain, France, Italy, and USA. So First World Organization is the League of Nations. And the aim of this one is to prevent again for another war. Okay? It was to stop the attempt of Second War. So it had 26 articles that aim to reduce the arms and stop war either through sanctions and military sanctions. So again, what is the aim of this one? To reduce arms and to stop the war. Okay? What do you mean by sanction?
Peaceful action.
Peaceful action.
Okay. So, what do you think is the most sanctioned country this time? Germany, are you sure?
USA?
USA, are you sure? You don't understand what sanction means, right?
What is it?
Even if you read it in a book, do you understand what you have read?
Yeah.
So what does sanction means? Tell me. What happened to a country if it's sanctioned?
Like lose economic.
Okay, lose economic what? What happened when a country is sanctioned? All the business of that country will be shut down. So what is the most sanctioned country right now? Russia. Very good. Russia. You can see, you cannot see McDonald's in Russia anymore. They have their own McDonald's, right? What's the name of your own McDonald's? Okay, so that's not really McDonald's, but that's Russia. Most of the branded, most of the company in Russia move out. That is one punishment for one country if they started a war. So sanction means a punishment for one country for doing such thing like war to another country. You have to remember the word sanction. Okay? So the punishment could be sanction, economically, and military sanction. Okay? So it means that they will cut it off, chop it off, so that you are not going to start another war. So during that time, what country will they punish? During that time, what country will they punish? Germany. Because Germany was what? They are the one who started World War I. Right? Okay. So now, the League also established a Court of International Justice. So another one, establish a Court of International Justice. So when we said they created or established a Court of International Justice, it means that all the country that had a problem with another country, they could call on to the League of Nations and ask them to help them how to negotiate, okay, with that country, or what should they do so that the peace will be settled. Alright? So now, aside from that one, they also created international justice. Okay? So, this international justice allow nations to bring their disputes before a court. Okay? It had limited powers and could not force a country to accept in judgment. Now, so the first meeting started in 1922. Okay? 1922 is the first meeting for League of Nations, and there were 42 nations attended. Okay. So again, there were 42 countries attended with this one, including Japan, Italy, of course, Britain, France, and so on and so forth. But there are two countries who were not included. They were not invited. Can you tell me what two countries wasn't invited or weren't invited for the League of Nations? They were not included.
Germany and Russia.
Germany and Russia.
No, you said Germany. I got that.
Yeah, we
No, I said it.
I said
No,
Germany.
I said Germany and Russia.
I said Germany.
Yeah, but you didn't say Russia.
Okay, enough with that one. Okay? The League of Nations will only call on to the leader of that country, Russia and Germany. But of course, they weren't. The League of Nations will not dare to listen to the side of Germany. It seems like Germany has no right to speak up. Fine. Because as we know, League of Nations, it was created to stop Germany to create another war. So for them, we are not going to listen to you. You listen to us. Yes, Mario.
You forgot the L in international.
You can just add it. It's very obvious, okay, my dear? All right. Now, so aside from that one, since we know that Woodrow Wilson was the one who created this idea to create an organization, right? But USA wasn't there. They did not join the League of Nations.
Why?
You don't know. Okay? Again, I told you during World War I, USA don't want to get involved. Didn't want to get involved in any of the problem with this war. Something will trigger them, but not yet. They are still in peace. Although USA was already powerful back that time. Okay? Now, do you think all of this what? Their aim is to sanction the country, to punish the country that started the war, to take all the military forces in the country, all the weaponry is not allowed anymore, and Germany has to repay everything that they destroyed in every country that they fought. So what do you think will happen to Germany? They will become broke. Totally broke. Okay? And for some other country, this ain't right. But we're going to discuss that further later. The problem with the League of Nations is that, of course, they have 12 articles, and to the articles, it stated what a country can do and cannot do. And if there is or there were disputes or there are many disputes with different countries, they could rely to the League of Nations. So the League of Nations will be the one to decide what they need to do. But some other country cannot stop the League of Nations. One example, the biggest wake-up call for League of Nations was the colonization of what? What do you think? Was the big call for the League of Nations? No. We know this. You already know this kind of invasion. The invasion of Manchuria. That's the the biggest? What is Manchuria? Manchuria is it's a place in China, my dear.
Why do South China?
Huh?
Why do South China? It's not China.
It's Manchuria. Yeah, it's part of China back then.
No, South Korea.
Okay? So English it. Well, okay. So now, despite the league's success, they even helped some country financially, like Austria. Okay? But again, the biggest test for the League of Nations was the invasion. Okay. So that was the biggest test for the League of Nations. The invasion of Japan to Manchuria in 1931. Okay, don't forget this one, 1931. They breached the contract. Remember, they have an agreement, right? They have an agreement that all the country that included or the member of the League of Nations will not breach the contract. What do you mean by breach the contract? Okay, break the rules, break the contract. Okay? Destroy it or not even follow or obey the law. Now, but Japan said, but I wanted to expand my territory. I'm already holding on to Manchuria. So the invasion of Manchuria started on in 1931. And of course, for the League of Nations, wait, what are you doing? You signed the agreement. Why would you invade another country? The aim of this League of Nations is to stop another country from invading another one. And what are you doing? Yeah. So what did Japan do? Okay. What did Japan do? What did Japan tell the League of Nations? I don't care. Okay? So, now, when the League refused the explanation of Japan, then the Japanese ignored the League of Nations, the rule, and left the League in 1933. You know, it seems like when you are, right now, when you are making your own group chat, and somebody didn't like what we were talking about there, and then you decided to left the group. So, for now, it seems like Japan left the group. Okay? Something like that. So now, they thought that it would be only Japan. But little did they know, another member of the League, which is the Italy, wanted to expand its territory again. There's another story behind that, but I will tell you later. Okay? Italy wanted to expand its territory, and suddenly, Italy colonized a country called Abyssinia.
What's the leader of?
Okay, what is the new name or what is the current name of Abyssinia? What country is it?
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. So where can you find Ethiopia? Africa.
What do you mean? Who doesn't know that?
Okay? So for the League of Nations, wait! What are you doing again? Japan did that and now you? Well, yeah, we wanted to expand our territories, so. And then they wanted to sanction Italy. And they did. Their military and economic sanction. Okay? But the problem is, Mario is asking who was the leader, of course, it's Mussolini. Okay, now, so in 1935, Italy began to amass troops on Abyssinia borders and they created war in Abyssinia. Okay? And of course, Abyssinia would appeal to the League of Nations, help us. You promised us that you're going to stop the war. And here, Italy started to colonize us. Can you do something? Okay? So, Italy invaded Abyssinia using planes, poison gas, killed all Abyssinian people there. And although the League appealed economic sanction against Italy, it excluded the product of Italy. Remember when I said sanction, like everything, right? Everything. You're going to destroy or take away everything that the country has. But they excluded coal, steel, oil from Italy because these three materials, raw materials, were being shipped to different parts of the the powerful countries such as USA, such as UK, such as Austria, and Germany. So if they sanction these three natural resources, what will happen to Germany, Austria, USA, and Britain? They're going to lose this one, and they cannot do that. Okay? It will become a biggest problem to them. So, okay, we're just going to sanction a little bit in Italy, but not the rest, which is the biggest money, okay, that belongs to Italy. Now, so after that one, after the sanction happened, Italy left the group, okay, by 1937. Okay, left the league. But still, even though that they put sanction to Italy, Italy could still use the Suez Canal to trade. Okay? But in Germany, they cannot do that. They stop everything in Germany. But for Italy, okay, they sanctioned this part, but continue doing the other part because the world needs it. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So overall, again, so the League of Nations was established to prevent the Second War or the war to start over again. And there were 4 countries or nations who started to organize this organization. What are those 4 countries? Britain, France, Italy, and USA. And then who was the main person that created or started the idea to create an organization? Woodrow Wilson. Who is Woodrow Wilson? He was not the Prime Minister. Did I say the right Prime Minister? Sorry, they don't have Prime Minister. It's the President of the United States. Okay? So now, Japan was a member of League of Nations. Italy was a member of League of Nations. What are the 2 countries that were not invited to be a member of the League of Nations? Russia and Germany. So what was the punishment that the League of Nations will do to Germany? Sanctions. Okay? And also the repayment of what they destroyed to different countries that they fought. Okay? So now, the first League of Nations started in 1922. When everything was okay, the League of Nations was successful by that time. They even sent help to Austria. Okay? They even sent financial help to different countries that asking for their help. But what was the first event that wake up the League of Nations?
The invasion of
The invasion of Manchuria by what country? And we know that Japan was one of the members of the League of Nations. And then the second one is what? The invasion of Abyssinia, which is what we call right now Ethiopia. And then, of course, what was the punishment that received by Italy? Sanction. But what happened? They left, but they still continue to trade their natural resources with what country? There is no country that time trying to trigger them to fight. Okay, although they are already powerful country, but they are the one who distributed money, financial help to different countries. That's all that they do. They just try to help countries, but to get involved, not really. Okay? All right, close your book.
Were you rated?
Of course.
Oh, here, Mom.
No more Ethiopia. Okay, close your notebook, close your book. I don't want to see anything. Write your name on the top of the paper, close your book, notebook. I'm not going to give you paper if you don't close it. Huh? Okay, start. quiz is very easy. Okay, so yes,
What was the replacement for the League of Nations?
the replacement for League of Nations, we have United Nations, my dear. They just changed the league from, but it's just like, league means a group, and then united means like a group that is with one idea. Well, there is a question about that here. Oh. And there is also NATO. Then we're going to discuss NATO. What is NATO about? Remember NATO, there are some few countries that were a member of NATO, and then Ukraine wasn't a member of NATO, and now after fighting with Russia, since Russia is a very strong country, Ukraine needs to be a part of something which is strong. So Ukraine decided to become a member of NATO. That's why NATO was under the help of America. So don't you think that, oh, I hate America just because they helped Ukraine fighting with Russia? That is what being a member of NATO is. If one country or one member of NATO was being attacked with another country, all of those members will fight that country. Yeah.